There it is right there, the BOK Center where Trump had his rally. That's the view from the parking lot where I work. Yeah, it's right there. Look at that temperature. 99 degrees. Yuck. Okay, let's talk about this Trump rally at the BOK Center. It was a failed rally by any measurement. The BOK Center has a capacity of 19,200 people. Fewer than 6,200 showed up. So the stadium wasn't half full. The stadium wasn't a third full. And this is bad news for Trump, because if he can't fill an arena in Oklahoma, which is the reddest of the red states, then his campaign has a problem. His supporters are here. The people that believe his rhetoric are here. The people who parrot his talking points are here. And yet he couldn't fill a stadium in Tulsa a third of the way full. There it is. That's where the president made his speech. And there were protests outside. These streets were all blocked. I didn't go out there, but I really wish I had. But there have been excuses presented by the president's campaign for why the rally failed, including that his supporters were blocked from entering the arena by protesters. That has been shown to be false. Everyone who wanted to be there was there. In my view, this is a reflection of the president's eroding support, even among some of his base and hardcore followers. He's lost a lot of people. But there are some false narratives out there about why this rally failed, and I'd like to clear some of them up. One narrative that is going around is that the rally was sabotaged by teenagers and K-pop fans using TikTok to reserve hundreds and even thousands of tickets with no intention of attending. In fact, there were over 1 million people showing interest in the event, despite the fact that about 6,200 people actually showed up. That doesn't make any sense. The tickets were free, and there was unlimited tickets. Because of the interest shown, they set up an overflow event, and the president was going to speak at both events. So anyone who wanted to be there, they could get a ticket for free. Didn't matter if thousands of other people ordered tickets, they'd still get their ticket. If they showed up, they would still get inside. And if they actually filled the arena, then they would go to the overflow event and they'd still get to see Trump. So the efforts of these K-pop fans didn't do anything to diminish the crowd. Nothing. That didn't affect that. Not that there's anything wrong with that effort. Apparently it did cause the campaign to grossly overestimate how many people would be there. But the poor showing by Trump supporters to the rally was not because of that. That overflow event, by the way, was canceled because what I've heard is literally a dozen people showed up for that. So yeah, the president decided not to drive out to give a speech there. So yeah, the president's in trouble. He couldn't fill an arena in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the heart of his base. Another, I think, false narrative that's going around is that people didn't show up because they were afraid of the coronavirus. Well, they should be, because we are almost certain to have a spike in coronavirus cases because of that event. But I don't buy that either, because of the general attitude that his supporters in this area have about the coronavirus. A recent poll was taken asking Oklahomans if they would get a vaccine for the coronavirus if a vaccine were available. And only 55% of Oklahomans said they would even get a vaccine. That shows how little they are worried about it. Now, when they broke that down by party, a majority of Democrats would get such a vaccine, but a minority of Republicans, in other words, people who are most likely to be Trump supporters, would not even get a vaccine from the virus. They are not worried about the virus. They're not. So I don't buy that either. For most of the last 4 years, I have been saying that I was worried that Trump was going to win a second term. And as much damage as he has done in 4 years, the amount of damage he could do in 8 years would be very difficult or impossible to undo in a generation. So a second term would be disastrous. But I looked out there and I saw his opponents arguing amongst themselves, fighting bitterly about things that matter less than victory. And I didn't see them making any headway toward defeating Trump in 2020. One reason I wasn't impressed by national polls is because the president isn't elected by a national horse race. He's elected by the Electoral College, and so, yeah, I know a lot of people are upset with him, and he's lost a lot of support, but where? Where? Because if he wins 1 or 2 states by a narrow margin, he could still win the election. However, the rally in Tulsa has started to change my mind. Because if he can't drum up that much support here, then I think he's really going to struggle in the battleground states. So for me, the takeaway is not about protesters. It's not about his followers being afraid of the coronavirus. And it's not about a bunch of K-pop fans overbooking the tickets. The real story is that he couldn't get his supporters to come out. He couldn't. And that spells trouble for his re-election campaign. I'm home, obviously. I had a few more things to say before I wrap up this video about the coordinated effort to overbook tickets at the Trump event. I know this was done by, a lot of it was done by K-pop fans. For some reason, they have emerged as online activists, and a lot of just other people. They just booked hundreds and hundreds of tickets without any plan of actually showing up. And this has been praised as, you know, a great strike against Trump and his supporters and his re-election efforts. And I've seen a couple rationales for this, but it's nice to know that people care enough to make the effort. But I see it as another form of slacktivism. Yes, it took some effort, but it took barely more effort than sharing a meme on Twitter. And I don't absolve myself because I wasn't there. I wanted to be there, but wanting to be there is not the same as being there, and I wasn't there. I should have been there. I regret that I wasn't there. But I'll tell you what would have made a bigger difference, something that wouldn't have been slacktivism, something that apparently could have been done. And that is if some of these people who booked tickets without the intention of showing up actually did show up and went inside with their tickets and sat in that arena. If the anti-Trump protesters had gotten tickets and gone inside, Trump would have faced an arena 2/3 filled with his opponents. And that would have been a moment for the history books. That would have been more than just ordering a bunch of free tickets. And the more I think about that, the more I wish I had thought of it beforehand. Because one reason why some people may not do that is for safety concerns, which is the reason I didn't go, and the reason my friends were concerned about me going. They were concerned about safety. Well, if you are a Trump opponent and you show up inside an arena at a Trump event, you never know what's going to happen. They have a history of being violent toward opponents there. You could get injured. You could get arrested. On that occasion, though, the opponents would have been the majority. And that would have been something. That would have been a hell of a headline. That would have produced some amazing video. But that's the kind of thing you think of after the fact. It doesn't do any good to think of that 2 days later. Let's not break our arms patting ourselves on the back for doing something that takes so little effort. We can do more. I can do more. And in the future, I will do more. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.